My name is Marin O'Keefe. I'm 34. 6 days post-laparoscopic surgery, my world was reduced to a couch, a sweating glass of water, and a baking show where adults cried over pies. The discharge sheet on my fridge said no lifting, no stairs, no stress, which felt like a dare in my family. I'm a patrol officer. I double lock doors without thinking. I keep a notebook even off duty because details have saved more lives than speeches. I drink my coffee black because at some point I forgot sugar was an option. My phone lit up. Maddie, sister, I answered. Hey. Her voice hit like a door slam. I'm dropping the kids with you. All three. You're not doing anything anyway. Then the laugh she uses when the decision is done. I'm going to Tokyo. Harry Potter Museum. Once in a lifetime. I blinked. You're what? Tickets were a steal. I leave tonight. 9 days, maybe 10. Don't make that noise, Marin. You love the kids. I do. I also love not tearing stitches. I'm post-op. You're a cop, not glass. Screen time, nuggets, bed by 8. I'll text allergies. On TV, someone cut a pie and the knife squeaked. The clock over my TV kept time like it was judging me. A minute later, Maddie. Dropping them at 4. I put you down as emergency pickup already. School ends 3:15. You're welcome. Another ping. Keys are with you from last time, right? Clean the humidifier. You always let it get gross. From last time meant the weekend I covered when her sitter bailed and Maddie forgot to pick up until Monday. I'd driven the boys to school in uniform, fed the toddler graham crackers in the parking lot, and filed it under family. Then came the chorus. Mom, your sister needs support. Don't be difficult. She's finally doing something for herself. Dad, we raised you to help. She's a single mom. Step up. A drawer slid open inside my chest, the one where I keep old receipts and uncashed IOUs. Maddie, last Christmas. You make more than me. Mom at Easter. Be generous. It looks good on you. Dad in the garage. Just spot her. She'll pay you back when she can. A decade of small asks that had become policy. I called again. This time she picked up, breathless, like she was running through an airport she hadn't reached. Mads, I said in my traffic stop voice, the one that punctures adrenaline. No lifting. Doctor's orders. They can climb. You're being dramatic. Oh, don't make them do homework. Max hates broccoli. I told the office you're picking up. You told the office. Well, you're Auntie Marin, she said. Then with a smile I could hear, real Marin, the cop. Something in me went very flat. Right. Don't start. Christmas is in 2 weeks. Don't be selfish during the holidays. The pie people hugged a burnt crust. I surprised myself by smiling. The kind of smile you give when you've already seen the footage and know exactly what time the door opened. Okay, I said and hung up. I decided, with a pillow pressed to stitches and cooling coffee in my palm, to give my sister a Christmas she would never forget. Not with fireworks, with truth. I lined my pain meds on the counter like evidence tags. I opened notes and typed a title. Maddie, holiday budget, May, childcare/promises. First bullet, 2019, rent assist, 3 months, $2,400, repay after tax return. Then, daycare 1 time, monthly. Deposit on bigger place, her name. Landlord texts me anyway. Phone plan, for a few months. Aftercare portal, authorized payer, Marin O'Keefe, edited by M. Harper. At 3 p.m., I stood up. The incision tugged like a warning. I grabbed my keys. I became a cop at 22 because I believe in order, not power. Streets need geometry. People need consequences. Our house ran on feelings, and Maddie. She was the sun. I was cloud cover. Our younger brother, Jamie, learned early that standing between us was the only way to stay warm. Mom loved hard when it photographed well. Dad loved quiet if it didn't cost extra. We weren't poor, but money behaved like weather. When Maddie had Max at 24, our family script calcified. Marin is stable. Maddie is fragile. Love is a group project Marin will complete and grade. I took extra shifts, delivered diapers at midnight, added them to my cell plan temporarily, and memorized a pickup pin I never consented to have. 2 months ago, I told Maddie about my surgery. Ugh, when? She said, like I'd scheduled it to interrupt her show. I gave dates. She sent good vibes. The family thread stayed quiet. Mom forwarded a casserole recipe. Dad sent a thumbs up. Jamie texted, "You got this." He offered to drive me. I said no, because I wanted to prove I didn't need anyone, by proving I did. I came home to an orange bottle and the smell of clean laundry pretending to be company. Then my phone rang. "Tokyo, you're not doing anything anyway." I picked up the boys because there were 3 kids in a school office with backpacks bigger than their torsos, and my name typed next to theirs by someone who trusted consent existed in this family. "Auntie Marin," they yelled, like I was a bounce house. I buckled them slowly, feeling every stitch. At my place, shoes exploded in the hallway. Someone demanded dinosaurs. Someone cried because I didn't build the exact ketchup hill. The toddler climbed my thigh like a tree. I laughed once, sat on the floor so I wouldn't tip. By 7, they were asleep in nests of blankets and plastic swords. I turned on the lamp and opened my laptop. New row on the spreadsheet. 2025. Post-op childcare. 10 days. Agreement? None. Assumed by others. I stared at assumed until it blurred. Then I opened a new document and named it Christmas Plan. Not gifts, clarity. 4 rules. Short as traffic laws. I will not be an emergency plan announced after the emergency starts. I will not fund magic. I will not be shamed for naming costs. I will not carry what you refuse to learn to carry. My phone buzzed. "Daniel, you surviving? Soup drop?" Me. "I'm fine." Daniel. "I'm coming anyway. Also, sticky notes for your evidence." Another ping. Sabrina, his ex, tagged at Tokyo brunch with Maddie. "Women who don't keep score only keep each other." A pink quote tile right after, "Some people weaponize boundaries to excuse cruelty." I took a screenshot and dropped it into a folder I titled Proof. I scheduled the scene. December 24th, 4 p.m., Mom's house. White lights, cinnamon, everyone pretending to be nice. Evidence printed. Lines rehearsed. The apartment settled. So did I. For the first time in years, the quiet felt like mine. Morning began with a cereal riot. Max wanted the blue spoon because it makes you faster in gym. Eli refused milk unless it was quiet milk. Noah, a toddler with a gladiator heart, bit the couch and declared he was a dragon. I moved like a person with a zipper in her stomach, bracing each twist with the red pillow that had become my bodyguard. The discharge sheet on the fridge kept whispering no lifting, but life with 3 kids is 90% lifting, of arms, moods, messes. I snapped a photo for Maddie, 3 faces powdered with sugar dust, and texted it. She heart-reacted and sent back a video of herself sipping butterbeer under a neon sign. "You're a lifesaver," she wrote. "Also, Eli is off great vitamins now, forgot to say. KTHX. After school drop-off, the apartment exhaled. I didn't. I opened the laptop and clicked into the folder I'd named Proof. Screenshots slid in like tiles on a roof. Zelle transfers labeled groceries, rent assist, aftercare, the audit log from the school portal. Authorized payer, Marin O'Keefe, with edited by Madeline Harper, April 12th, 11:07 a.m. The $400 stroller order shipped to a friend's building. Maddie's caption beneath it, blessed. I stared at my redacted card number the way you look at a bruise you didn't notice forming. A knock. Daniel slipped in with dumplings and 2 sets of chopsticks. "Rise and mildly shine," he said, scanning the sippy cup skyline on my counter. "We're calling this an art installation. Domestic storm. 10 days post-op." I smiled, then winced. He saw it. "Sit," he said, already ladling soup. He set a stack of neon sticky notes beside my laptop. "For your evidence or feelings, label as needed." "You're dangerous," I said, giving a cop office supplies. He glanced at the open screen. "You sure you want Christmas to be your reckoning day?" "It's not reckoning," I said. "It's triage. Family keeps bleeding out, and I'm the tourniquet." I tapped the folder. "This is the medical record." He kissed my forehead and didn't offer solutions. That's why he's allowed in. 10 minutes after he left, my phone lit with a story. Sabrina, his ex, clinking glasses with Maddie. Caption: "Women who don't keep score only keep each other." Slide 2. A rose-pink tile. "Some people weaponize boundaries to excuse cruelty." I snorted, screen capped, and filed under narrative spin. Day 3 found its shape. The boys learned the red pillow was Auntie's belly guard. Noah practiced not body slamming me by body slamming a teddy bear. Eli agreed to homework if I drew a ketchup spiral, not a hill. Max asked to do cop reports each night. 3 lines in my notebook. Subject, Max. Incident. Slipped at recess. Didn't cry. Resolution. Dinosaur sticker. He grinned when I wrote it official. At 2 a.m., when the apartment finally went still, I worked the case against our system. I froze my credit, changed passwords, removed my card from the school portal. 10 minutes later, it reappeared, edited by M. Harper, 2:24 p.m. I removed it again and took screenshots of both edits. On a sticky note, I wrote, "Forms are contracts. No more oops." Day 4, the school receptionist leaned in over the counter. "We received your email, Ms. O'Keefe. We'll need Mom's written consent to keep you on file." "Good," I said. "Please do exactly that." The relief on her face was so human it hurt. "I'm glad you said it." Day 5, Mom called. "How are my angels?" she trilled. "Fed, loud, alive," I said. She sighed dreamily. "Your sister's photos are magical. She deserves this joy after everything." "After what?" I asked. Silence blinked. "We'll talk at Christmas," she said, and hung up before accountability could climb in. 2 hours later, alert. Attempted wallet link from Lorna's iPhone. Location, their town. I stared at the ceiling, then phoned the bank. "Lock everything," I said. "Add a voice code, a passphrase, a retina scan if you have one." When the rep asked if I wanted to press charges, I said, "Not yet," and felt my voice go steel. Day 6, Jamie showed up with a toolbox and juice boxes. He stood in my doorway like weather deciding whether to rain. "Need a hand?" "I need 3, I said. He grinned. "Classic Marine." His eyes slid to the folder. "You really going to do it?" "I'm tired of choosing polite over honest," I said. He nodded, jaw working. "I'll stand behind you." Day 7 was library returns, a Lego crisis, and the toddler trying to eat a crayon to be stronger. I texted Daniel, "Consider me a first responder at an arts and crafts disaster." He replied with a raccoon meme hugging a trash can, me protecting my peace. At night, I rehearsed lines into the bathroom mirror until "no" stopped sounding like an apology. "I'm not a backup plan. Remove my name. If you add it, I will report it. Here are resources that don't include me. Short, non-negotiable, like traffic laws." Day 9, FaceTime, neon vending machines, Maddie's glossed grin. "How's my crew?" she chirped. The boys piled onto the screen. "Auntie's a cop," Noah announced, which was both true and now, apparently, a brand. Maddie squinted at me. "You look intense." "We'll see you Christmas Eve," I said, "at Mom's." "Can you do the airport pickup? I'm dead." "No," I said, "and get a ride." She rolled her eyes. "You're so dramatic." "I'm clear," I said, and ended the call with the calm of a person who has already written the report. Day 10, I tucked the boys' gifts into a tote. Books, socks, a dinosaur that roared softly enough not to ruin adult ears. I slid the folder on top. Evidence, 4 printed rules, and the last page, resources I'd booked for her, because love without enabling is still love. I stood in the doorway, surveying the red pillow, the stacked sippy cups, the small order we'd managed. The apartment smelled like syrup and clean laundry. It smelled like a life I owed to myself. "Tomorrow," I told the room. "We stopped pretending." The room agreed. It was already honest. The sky over my parents' neighborhood was the color of aluminum, cold and still, like a pause before a verdict. I parked 2 houses away and sat with the engine idling, folder on the passenger seat. Inside were 10 years of proof, each page weighed down with memories that had stopped being sentimental long ago. Mom's house glowed in its usual holiday uniform, white lights too tight, wreath perfectly centered, the cinnamon-scented air already sweating through the curtains. I grabbed the tote of gifts and stepped into the performance. "Marin," Mom sang as if I'd walked on stage instead of through a door. "Our hero." "Hey, Mom." She kissed the air beside my cheek and gestured at the couch. "Put that down and relax. You always look so official." Jaime was near the tree, plate of fudge in hand, pretending it was a shield. Dad wore the same green sweater I'd bought him 4 years ago, still convinced good wool never expires. And Maddie, fresh tan, glossy hair, and a smile that could sell apologies she didn't mean, was sprawled on the couch, scrolling her phone. "There she is," she said without looking up. "Thought you'd bring the boys' stuff earlier." "They're outside," I said. "We'll bring them in after we talk." Mom's smile stiffened. "Talk? It's Christmas Eve, honey. Let's not ruin the mood." "Not ruining," I said softly. "Just clarifying." I set the tote under the tree and the folder on the coffee table. The boys ran in, snow-dusted, hyper, loud. Their noise filled the house with something almost holy. For a few minutes, it felt like the room might stay normal. Then Maddie said it. That line she'd rehearsed for years, sweetened with entitlement. "Speaking of gifts," she began, grin widening, "can you spot me rent this month? Jet lag hit hard. Bills, too." She laughed, breezy as if money were weather. Mom didn't flinch. Dad topped off his wine. I smiled, small, surgical. "No." Maddie blinked. "No?" "No." I flipped the folder open. Paper rustled like a fuse. "But we're going to talk about why." Mom's voice dropped. "Marin, please, not now." "Exactly now." I slid the first sheet across the coffee table. Bank transfers highlighted in yellow. Groceries, utilities, rent assist, daycare. Maddie frowned. "You're keeping receipts now?" "I'm keeping reality." Next sheet, aftercare statement. Authorized payer, Marin O'Keefe. Edited by M. Harper. Jaime's eyebrows rose. "You used her info?" Maddie shrugged. "It's just a form." "Forms are contracts," I said. "You know that." She gave a small laugh. "You're so dramatic." Dad sighed. "This is Christmas, and I'm tired of playing the ghost of Christmas cash." I spread the document as like a dealer laying down cards. 2019 rent assist. 3 months. Promise. Repay after tax return. Never happened. 2020 daycare became auto transfer. 2021 new apartment deposit under your name. Landlord still texts me. 2022 stroller purchase. Blessed caption, my card. 2023 aftercare edits. 2024 school portal confetti email. 2025 10 days of unpaid childcare post-surgery. Silence. Maddie leaned back, folding her arms. "You're obsessed. It's creepy." "You mean organized?" She laughed once, too loud. "Wow. You think this makes you a martyr?" "No," I said. "It makes me done." Mom whispered, "We all do what we can." "No," I said again. "You all do what you want, and I cover the bill." Dad stood, voice tight. "Marin, this isn't a courtroom." "Then stop acting guilty." He froze. The air did too. I took out the final sheet, a single page with 4 lines in bold. Effective immediately. I am no longer a backup plan. I will not fund your rent, trips, or emergencies created by your choices. I will not be listed as payer or contact without my written consent. If my name appears without consent, I will report it. Maddie's jaw set. "Report me? For being your sister?" "For fraud," I said evenly. "For using my information. For assuming I'll always say yes." Her smile faltered. "You wouldn't dare." "I already did." The room went weightless. Mom's hand trembled over her wineglass. "You're really doing this? To family?" "Because it's family," I said. "If I don't do it here, I'll keep doing it forever." Jaime, quiet all evening, finally spoke. "She's right." Maddie spun toward him. "Oh, don't start." He set his plate down. "Every time I tried to help, Mom said not to trigger you. Dad said, let her be, because Marin would fix it. I didn't stop it, and that's on me." The truth cracked like thunder. Mom's eyes shone. "We did our best." "You protected her from consequences and called it love," I said. Dad rubbed his forehead. "So what now? You want her to fail?" "No, I want her to learn." I pulled out another paper, neat and official. "Here's a financial counseling appointment, January 8th, legal aid consult on the 15th, rent relief programs, after-school care resources, all printed and confirmed. If you want to fix it, start here." Maddie looked at the paper like it was contagious. "You made appointments for me?" "Yes, I made options, because I'm done making rescues." Her voice cracked. "What if I can't handle it?" "Then you'll learn how." Tears spilled from Mom's eyes. "This isn't how we do things." "This," I said quietly, "is exactly how we've always done things. I'm just not playing along." The boys peeked in from the hallway, sensing weather. Max climbed onto my lap, his voice small. "Auntie, can we do pancakes tomorrow?" I smoothed his hair. "Next weekend. At my place." He nodded, solemn as a secret. Maddie's chin trembled. "You're cruel." "No," I said, "I'm clear." That's when the silence changed texture, from fear to oxygen. Jaime moved to stand beside me, the simple act of alignment shaking the air. Dad exhaled. Mom dabbed her eyes. Maddie stared at the keys I'd placed on the table. What if I still put your name down? Then you'll get a letter, I said. From me, from the school, from whoever you involved. Her mouth parted. You wouldn't. I already warned the bank. She sank back quiet for once. The room didn't collapse. It simply reset, like a radio finally tuning off static. Dessert? Mom asked shakily. Jaime said softly. We just had it. The truth was the dessert. Bitter, necessary, cleansing. I stood. Pain tugged at my abdomen, but it was a clean pain, earned. I'm heading out. No one stopped me. In the driveway, Jaime followed. Need help tomorrow? Yeah, I said. Help me move the bunk bed. I'm reclaiming my office. He smiled. Copy that. I drove home through streets lined with lights pretending to be joy. My radio stayed off. The quiet was enough. Inside my apartment, I folded the boys' shirts, stacked their drawings, and labeled one last folder. Christmas Eve. Boundaries stated, received. I wrote the date and a single line beneath it. Clarity. Finally logged. Christmas morning was quieter than it had any right to be. No calls, no chaos. Just snow melting off the roof and the smell of leftover coffee. I expected the silence to feel peaceful. It didn't. It felt like an empty inbox after a long fight. You know the storm's gone, but your body still braces for the next one. Then, at 9:12 a.m., the first notification arrived. Facebook, Lorna O'Keefe, shared a post. Family isn't perfect. Some people forget that love can't be measured in money. Forgive anyway. And there it was, our official revision of history. By noon, the comments were flowing in. You're such a good mom. Kids today are so selfish. Sending hugs. Stay strong. I didn't reply. I just took a screenshot, dropped it into a folder titled Public Narrative/version 2.0, and let the internet have its story. Then came the texts. Maddie, you humiliated me in front of everyone. Hope it was worth it. 5 minutes later. Mom hasn't stopped crying. Are you proud? My thumb hovered over the keyboard. The old me would have explained. The new me just wrote, boundaries aren't cruelty. Then deleted it. Finally, I typed, I wish you well, and hit send. That was the whole truth in 4 words. By evening, there was another ping. Attempted login. Savings account. Device. Lorna's iPhone. I stared at it, exhaled through my teeth, then called the bank. Lock it down, I said. Add voice verification. She's my mother, not my proxy. The rep hesitated. Would you like to file a report? Not yet, I said, but note it. That phrase, but note it, had become my quiet power. 2 days later, a new post appeared. Be careful who you trust with your finances. Some people act generous just to control you. Below, Sabrina commented with a heart emoji. Of course she did. I took another screenshot and saved it under Gaslight Parade, December 27th. Daniel looked over my shoulder. Why keep receipts for lies? Because truth is allergic to amnesia, I said. He leaned against the counter, half smiling. You sound like a detective again. I'm just collecting my piece in evidence form. A week later, the universe tested me. Phone buzzed. Bright Gas Collections. We're following up on an overdue balance. $300 listed under your address. Whose name? I asked. Dennis or Lorna O'Keefe. Then call them, I said. This number's retired from that job. The woman chuckled softly, like she'd heard this before. Good for you. I hung up smiling. The silence that followed didn't ache this time. It felt like closure. Mom's group text came in waves of passive-aggressive poetry. We forgive you, Marin. We know you're under stress. Family isn't about spreadsheets. Don't isolate yourself. We're worried. I didn't answer. The next week, she tried again. I'm praying for your heart to soften. I replied with one sentence. My heart isn't hard. It's healed. Jaime dropped by one night after his shift. He stood in the doorway holding takeout and a new pack of printer ink. Guess who's telling people you're estranged? He said. Mom. Technically, Maddie. Mom just likes the posts. I exhaled. Of course. He placed the food down, shrugged. You sure you're okay with being the villain? I'm not the villain, I said. I'm just not the volunteer anymore. He grinned. That's the title of your memoir. January 8th. The counseling appointment I'd booked for Maddie came and went. At 11:02 a.m., my shared calendar pinged. Session completed. No fanfare, no message, just data. 3 days later, a photo appeared in my texts. A crumpled paper with handwriting all over it. Budget draft rent. Figuring it out. Food. Figuring it out. Kids. Keep alive. No emojis, no apology, just proof she was trying. I texted back one word. Good. Mom called again near the end of the month. Her voice was smaller than I remembered. Marin, she said, I've been reading about parentification. She said the word like it had splinters. We didn't mean to make you the adult, she said. I know, I said, but I stayed one, even when I didn't have to. There was a pause, long enough to feel real. You happy? She asked. No, I said, but I'm peaceful. It's a start. Daniel came over that night with champagne. To boundaries, he said, raising his glass. To peace, I replied, and to learning that silence isn't punishment. It's proof of balance. He laughed. You always sound like a cop giving philosophy lessons. I'm retired from fixing things, I said. That counts as enlightenment. A few weeks later, a letter arrived from the school district. To Ms. O'Keefe, we've removed your name as an authorized payer and updated emergency contacts as requested. Thank you for clarifying. I pinned it to my fridge under a magnet shaped like a badge. That one piece of paper meant freedom. By February, small shifts began to ripple. Maddie texted, The boys miss you. Can they come over this weekend? I stared at the message, then replied, yes, as long as they see what quiet looks like. When they arrived, Max ran straight to the kitchen. You didn't move the red pillow. It's a relic, I said, untouchable. We made pancakes. We laughed. We talked about dinosaurs, not debts. Before they left, Eli handed me a drawing. 3 stick figures under a big sun. That's you, he said. You're the rule maker. I smiled. Rules keep people safe. Even grown-ups? Especially grown-ups. Spring thawed the last of the tension. Dad sent a photo of a lamp he'd fixed. Caption, learning from the best. Mom stopped posting about forgiveness. Maddie stopped asking for money. Some miracles happen quietly. That night, I sat at my desk and opened the old spreadsheet one last time. Column after column of dates, transfers, promises. I hovered over the delete key. Daniel watched from the doorway. You ready? Ready, I clicked. The file vanished. The silence that followed wasn't empty, it was earned. When the boys stayed over again, Max asked, Auntie, what's that folder on your desk? History, I said. Can I read it? Not yet, when you're older, when you start making your own rules. He nodded, wise beyond his 8 years. That night, I stood by the window, city lights flickering below. My phone buzzed. Maddie again. Mom said you bought your own birthday cake this year. Save me a slice? Always, I typed back. Then I set the phone down, turned off the lamp, and whispered to the quiet apartment. I'm done keeping the lights on for people who never paid the bill. The room glowed softly anyway. For the first time, the power was truly mine.